Hi, this is Brian, and I'm excited to share with you an all-new version of SimpliSafe Dividends that you can begin using today. This is the new portfolio page, and you can see that it contains 6 organized reports covering some familiar areas such as your portfolio's annual dividend income, dividend safety scores, diversification, and more. You can click into each of these reports to get very organized and actionable information. In the dividend safety report, for example, you'll see that we've now bucketed your income into our different risk classifications. You can read about each group to better understand how to think about any of your holdings that fall into that category in order to help you generate safer income that is aligned with your risk tolerance. I recommend taking some time to explore these different reports. I use them each day with my own portfolios to stay on top of the key metrics I need to follow and to better manage risk. Below those reports, you'll see a new holdings table that contains a number of big improvements compared to the old website. For example, you can export all of this data on your holdings with the click of a button. You'll see a CSV file download below. You can also swap out any of these columns for the metrics you care about most with your investment process, whether that's sector classifications, beta, yield on cost, ex-dividend dates. It's all in there, and any changes you make are saved automatically, so you can come back and have your same layout every time you log in. The columns are sortable, of course, and importantly, whenever you scroll down the page, you'll notice that the column headers lock now, so you don't have to worry about ever forgetting what piece of information you're looking at. The portfolio management process has been improved as well. You can now maintain as many portfolios as you need in your account, and if you enter a portfolio in the top section here, it will be available to be viewed on its own, and it will also be combined with any other portfolios you've entered here into one overview, which is really nice if you have different investment accounts located in separate places like an IRA, a Roth, a taxable brokerage account. You can see how they all roll up together to view their annual income, diversification, total value, and more. When you go to enter a new portfolio, I'll make one up here called Brian's IRA. The process has been simplified as well. You can enter multiple securities all on one page instead of one at a time, and our database has expanded to cover all U.S. securities. So if you have any mutual funds, preferred stock, closed-end funds, you can now account for all of it to look at your entire portfolio's income stream and overall value, which is great. Any holdings that you've entered into your portfolio, you'll also receive email alerts anytime they change their dividends. If you navigate to your timeline menu here, I'll show you an example of what I mean. So for example, I hold some shares of Philip Morris International, and when that company raised its dividend, I received an email alert that told me the increase was 6.5%, and my annual income was expected to increase $14 as a result. So it's really nice to stay on top of these things automatically and never have any surprises with my income stream. Outside of the portfolio tool, a big improvement we've made is on the valuation front. I'll pull up Pepsi as an example. You'll see that this page, which is kind of similar to our stock analyzer, you'll have access to any research if we've written it. There's dividend growth metrics available, dividend safety, payout ratios. But if you scroll all the way down, what's new is this dividend yield chart. So we plot each stock's actual dividend yield over the last 5 years, which makes it really easy for you to see if the current yield is relatively high or relatively low, which could influence the stock's timeliness, especially if you believe the dividend is safe and the long-term outlook is sound. I like using these yield charts because, especially in our conservative retirees portfolio, I'm looking for ideas that are paying me attractive income, and if I see the yield is higher than it has been, to me that shows that each dollar I'm investing is working harder for me from an income perspective. The final few parts of the new website I'll show you are the stock screener. If you remember the old website, it was kind of hard to understand what some of the metrics were and what inputs to use for them. We've solved that problem by allowing you to pick what metrics you want to have available in the screener. And for each one, when you go to add it, you'll get an explanation of what the metric is, how to think about it, and much easier to use inputs to set the filter. And like we saw in the portfolio table, you can customize the columns in the screener, you can export the data. It's super flexible. And the same story is true in our ideal lists. You can go into any of these popular groups of stocks and tweak the columns, export the data. It's all in there. Same for our portfolios. So this is the new website. We've made a lot of improvements expanding the data coverage, making it much more customizable and actionable with portfolio reports. We've tried to address many of the things we wish the old website had, and we plan to keep improving this site too. Just to recap, it's completely free to upgrade. There's certainly no obligation to do so. We are going to continue maintaining the old website just how it is. We're just asking our members to pick between the two versions with which site they'd like to use going forward. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions along the way as you try out the new website. And thank you again for your time and for your business.